Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sargana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So we are here in this chapter Dhyana Yoga, the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Right. So in the first chapter, we saw that Arjuna was, so much in depression, and he was giving different reasons why he cannot fight the battle, and the various reasons were the he didn't want to uh, kill his relatives, and then he was saying that I'm not able to see any happiness coming out of this whole endeavor, and then he was telling that the sin will come upon him if he like do this massacre, and then he was telling about the destruction of social tradition, because all the respectable people of the world are there assembled in the battle, and if they are killed, so then there will be a lot of okay, just a minute. Gopi Prabhu was telling he's not able to hear, but he has not connected his audio. uh, okay, so um, like in this way, he was giving various reasons why he is um, why he's unwilling to fight the battle, and then Krishna in the second chapter he gives reasons to all. He gives once Arjuna accepts Krishna as the spiritual master, so then he gives um, like counter arguments for all these reasons. So what are the counter arguments for the family attachment? No, Krishna gives that you should understand you are the spirit and you are not the body, and when by understanding the bare bone facts of the existence of this world, the matter and the spirit, so we develop a detachment towards this world. So in this way, like he was mentioning about the jnana yoga, so that is the aspects of difference between body and soul. And then for the matter of the second thing is like happiness. So then Krishna told, no, you think that you will not get happiness by fighting this war, but actually you should perform your duties well, and if you perform your duties well, then you will be able to get to the spiritual world. You will be able to what is that get the result of going to heavenly planets, then you can enjoy nicely. So he was mentioning that you should try to do your karma well, and then aim for a higher destination. So that's how you get happiness. So not by walking off from your dharma, you will not be able to get happiness by walking off from your dharma. So this is something that he mentions. Then after that, for the aspect of sin will come upon him if he fights. So for that, Krishna mentions no nishkama karma yoga. So if you give up attachment to the fruits of your activities, so then no sin will touch you. So then you can you can be very free, like you will not get any sin. So if you have attachment to the results of this battle, so then the sin will touch you. But if you are not having attachment to the results of this battle, the sin will not touch you, because you are just going to do it as a duty, right? So then In this way, like he's telling various this ones. And finally, in the second chapter, end of the second chapter, Arjuna also asks that you are asking me to be a no sthita prajna, or a fully fixed up person, and what are the symptoms of a sthita prajna. So then Krishna gives the this one, how does a sthita prajna, or a fully surcharged soul, no, fully realized soul, he'll be. So there he mentions about, no, I'm just telling the final one. So that is apuryamana machala pratishtam. So that is, even if rivers, so many rivers flow into an ocean, the ocean never crosses its brim. So, and the ocean is completely in its control. So in the same way, like a sthita prajna is a person, so many things may flow, so many thoughts may flow, so many problems may flow, so many things may be there, but he will never become disturbed. It's very difficult to disturb a sthita prajna. So just like an ocean, it cannot be disturbed by incessant flow of rivers. So in the same way, sthita prajna, no, he will not be disturbed. So because he is in solid knowledge. So hearing all this thing, Arjuna was confused, know what to follow. So for each one of his problems, Krishna gave different yoga as the result, and then know which one to follow. And then like he thought that Krishna is asking me to take sannyas. No, Krishna is asking me to like renounce everything, and then he is asking me to fight also. So which one to do? So then Krishna tells in the third chapter that no, it is not, renunciation is not good. So you should work, and work in a detached way, that is very good. So and then he mentions about a little bit of this one, karma yoga. And then he also talks about the greatest enemy for a person in execution of his activities. The karma yoga means regulated activities, and the greatest enemy for regulation is lust. That will not allow us to regulate. It will make us overindulge in things. So then it's mentioned that he mentions that like you should control this lust. And where does this lust sit? The lust sit on mind, intelligence, and senses, and we should regulate them, and through the cultivation of spiritual intelligence. And in that way, the fourth chapter starts with the this one of spiritual transcendental knowledge. How do we get this spiritual intelligence or higher knowledge? So this knowledge comes down in Guru Parampara, and then this knowledge is about the divine nature of the Supreme Lord, and how his birth and activities are transcendental and things like that. So like this, the whole aspects of this knowledge has been revealed, and how to get like by the how to get this knowledge. One is that it comes in the parampara. One has to approach a spiritual master and then serve him and things like that. And by executing sacrifices and yajnas and tapasya, so we will be able to purify our senses. And by purification of senses, we will get transcendental knowledge. And with this, again, Arjuna is thinking that knowledge means, again, renunciation and sannyas and things like that. Again, the same confusion what he had in the beginning of third chapter, the same confusion Arjuna has in the beginning of fifth chapter also. And again, Krishna mentions, no, renunciation and detached work, both are almost equal. No, a worker, a nishkama karma yogi, no, who is working without attachment to the results, no, that is better than renouncing the things of this world. So and then he says that you should follow nishkama karma yoga, and also you should fix your mind on the Supreme Lord, and you should work. And how do we fix? So for that, he gives a little bit of this one of ashtanga yoga. So he tells about ashtanga yoga. And in the sixth chapter, so because fifth chapter ends with that, how to fix the mind on Krishna and then work in that consciousness. So then the sixth chapter, it starts with Ashtanga Yoga. So after finishing this Ashtanga Yoga, towards the end of sixth chapter, Krishna will say, no, Bhakti Yoga is better. It has all its components. All these components are there. You don't need to worry about all these things. Right? So this is how the discussion is happening between Arjuna and Krishna in the battlefield. So let's read the first sloka. This is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yah sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na nachakriyah. So this is very nice, this one. Anashrita. Ashrita means taking shelter. No, anashrita means without taking shelter of what? Karma phalam, the fruits of our activities. Right? Karyam karma karoti yaha. So one should do his activities. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. No, like that is like equivalent to sannyasi and yogi. No, it's not a person. Niragnir and nachakriyah. So like Agni means like generally any sacrifice requires Agni, and then it requires some activities. It is not that a person who doesn't ignite fire and he doesn't do any activities. He is not a sannyasi. Sannyasi is a person, he is working, but without the shelter, without taking shelter of the karma phalam, anashrita karma phalam. Right? So that is the thing that Krishna is again and again stressing, because there is a tendency to go towards inactivity. So action creates problems. So let me just resign from all these actions and let me not do anything. No, I just escape from this world. So Krishna is telling, no, it's not going to help. And in third chapter also he mentions sufficiently that we cannot just give it up just like that, because the modes of nature are acting. Either you do a regulated activity, or the modes are going to take you on a trip. No, it's you are going to do some activity. It's that cannot be stopped. So don't tend towards inactivity. No, the activity must be there. And important thing is anashrita karma phalam. No, that is without taking shelter of the fruits of our activity, we should work. So this is a very important lesson that we all need to keep reiterating to ourselves, is that I have to work without attachment to the fruits of my action. So that is when I'll be happy, right? That is when the sin will not touch me, and that is when I'll become happy, and I'll be a very, very strong and positive person if I can do this. So this is a very powerful tool. So anybody who's suffering from depression or things like that and all, it's basically like this one instruction is sufficient. If they follow this one instruction, they can just come out of all their problems. Anashrita karma phalam, right? Okay, translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. And he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. Purport. In this chapter, the Lord explains that the process of eightfold yoga system is a means to control the mind and the senses. However, this is very difficult for people in general to perform, especially in the age of Kali. Although the eightfold yoga system is recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasizes that the process of karma yoga, or acting in Krishna consciousness, is better. It's a duty, like performing one's duty, keeping Krishna in the mind, that is better. So, like here, karma yoga, why it has been bhakti has been talked about as karma yoga. So there is a reason behind. So karma yoga involves activity, and bhakti also involves activity. So jnana yoga and ashtanga yoga actually talks about giving up activity. So even while describing ashtanga yoga, Krishna wants to take a certain elements of that. He doesn't want Arjuna to follow that, right? So he just wants certain elements of it, and he wants him to do his duty. He wants him to be a warrior. He wants him to do his duty, and at the same time fix his mind on Krishna. And this is actually bhakti, right? The Lord emphasizes that the process of karma yoga, or acting in Krishna consciousness, is better. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia, but no one is working without some self-interest, some personal gratification, some self-interest, personal gratification, be it concentrated or extended. So that means be it like fully selfish, me and my family, or an extended selfishness, me and my society and my nation and things like that, or all the mankind, or all the living entities of this planet and things like that. So it's like either concentrated or extended. It's selfishness, because how much ever big circle we make, who's the center, Krishna or me? That's the point. So if Krishna is the center, then it's Krishna consciousness. If I am the center, then it's like material, right? Okay, the criterion of perfection is to act in Krishna consciousness and not with a view to enjoy the fruits of work. To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity because all are constitutionally part and parcels of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self satisfaction, but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who acts for satisfaction of the supreme whole and not for personal satisfaction is the perfect sannyasi, the perfect yogi. The sannyasi sometimes artificially thinks that they have become liberated from all material duties and therefore they cease to perform Agni-kotra yajnas, fire sacrifices. But actually, they are self interested because their goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without self interest. No, it's like generally the karma sannyas and what is being mentioned here, it's like a person goes towards this what is it, dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So dharma means like I have to perform duties. Why? No, that is how I'll get my artha, that is how I'll get my money and my paraphernalia for my sense gratification. So by performance of dharma I get my artha. And then why do I need artha? To fulfill all my desires, kama. And then once I'm sufficiently frustrated with all this one satisfying my desires, then I go towards moksha. And that kind of a person who's going like that, so they want to merge with the Brahman. And such kind of people, they stop all this Agnihotras and they stop all the religious rituals and everything, because they want to become the Brahman, and that is not recommended. That's what Krishna is telling, that we should not do like that. Okay, such a desire is greater than any material desire. No, it's a bigger material desire. Such sannyas is like a bigger material desire. But it is not without self-interest. It is self-interest is there. Similarly, the mystic yogi who practices the yoga system with half-opened eyes, ceasing all material activities, desires some satisfaction for his personal self. But a person acting in Krishna consciousness works for the satisfaction of the whole without self-interest. No, that is, he wants to act for Krishna, right? A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self satisfaction. His criterion of success is the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is the perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfectional symbol of renunciation, prays in this way: Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitham va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahai tvai. So here we see that Lord Chaitanya, who is the perfectional symbol of renunciation. That means he's the best of all the renunciants, and he is telling that he doesn't want anything personal. He doesn't want any gratification personally. So he's telling, no dhanam, no, I don't want dhanam. No janam, I don't want followers. No sundarim, I don't want beautiful women. And kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. So I don't want any of these material aspirations and things like that. And what he at all wants, mama janmani janmanishware. That means he's not even looking for liberation. So he's telling Janmani Janmanishware, like, no, even if I have many, many births, it's okay. I don't want to finish this material term. Bhavatad Bhakti Rahai Tuki Tvai. No, I just want to become your devotee, your unalloyed devotee birth after birth. Right. So this he just rules off the desire for liberation, desire for sense gratification, desire for acquiring any siddhi. No, everything he rules it off. And then he says exclusively, I just want to be a person who will offer you pleasure, my Lord. So that is something that the devotee is praying for. Okay, let's see here the translation. Every day morning we chant this, at least those who are joining our morning chanting session. So we chant this prayer every day morning. And even otherwise also, like, we should do it every day in the Sikshashtakam, the 8 prayers, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, onwards. So like that we should chant every day. It's very, very nice. And this consciousness is the topmost of consciousness which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had, and repeating these prayers will take us closer to this highest consciousness. Okay, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, not to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only is the costless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. Right? So this is how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying. Okay, so text 2. Yam sanyasam iti prahur yogam tam vidhi pandava nahi asanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. So what is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme, O son of Pandu. For one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Purport. Real sannyas yoga or bhakti means that one should know his constitutional position as the living entity and act accordingly. The living entity has no separate independent identity. He is the marginal energy of the Supreme. When he is entrapped by material energy, he is conditioned, and when he is Krishna conscious or aware of spiritual energy, then he is in his real and natural state of life. Therefore, when one is in complete knowledge, one ceases all material sense gratification or renounces all kinds of sense gratificatory activities. This is practiced by yogis who restrain the senses from material attachment. But a person in Krishna consciousness has no opportunity to engage his senses in anything which is not for the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is simultaneously a sannyasi and a yogi. The purpose of knowledge and of restraining the senses, as prescribed in the jnana and yoga processes, is automatically served in Krishna consciousness. So this we had discussed quite a number of times, and it's really an interesting subject. So it says, no, the jnana and yoga, what does it give? It's the purpose is to attain knowledge and restraining the senses, right? So knowledge comes by purification of the senses, and once the senses are purified, no, you don't need to restrain them. So it is there in their original position. So when I have material interest, then I have to regulate. When I don't have material interest, I don't need to regulate, right? So like I have only interest of serving Krishna, then I don't need to regulate my senses. The senses are already regulated, no, because it is attached to Krishna. And then once it is attached to Krishna, once the senses are purified, so then the knowledge automatically is there. So what a yogi and a sannyasi is doing with so much of strenuous effort, a Krishna conscious person automatically achieves, no, even while staying at home. So this is the amazingly powerful process wherein other yoga system mandates sannyas. No, it is very much necessary for them to attain perfection. But a Krishna conscious person being right there, no, wherever he is, Thane stito shrutigatam tanuvan manobir. He prayaso jita jitam apita trilokyam. Right? So this is very, very powerful. So this the process of Krishna consciousness is so powerful that just by the we don't need to change our position. We just need to become, no, wherever we are, we just need to understand how Krishna wants me to act in that condition, and just act and be Krishna conscious person. So change of situation, change of environment may take time. So we cannot afford even that. So we just become Krishna conscious wherever we are, right? So that's very important. If one is unable to give up the activities of his selfish nature, then jnana and yoga are of no avail. The real aim is for a living entity to give up all selfish satisfaction and to be prepared to satisfy the Supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for any kind of self enjoyment. He is always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. One who has no information of the Supreme must therefore be engaged in self satisfaction, because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. All the purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness, right? So there is activity, there is knowledge, there is renunciation, everything is achieved just by practice of Krishna consciousness. Text 3. Arurukshormuneryogam karma karanamuchyate yogarudasya tasyaiva sama karanamuchyate. Okay, so this is two kinds of yogic practitioners. Aruruksho, yoga aruruksha. So that is the beginner in a yoga system. So for him, karma karana muchyate. So for him, the recommended practice is that he must take on to engagement by karma. Karma yoga is required for him. And yoga rudashya, no tasyaiva samakarana muchyate. So like for a person who is advanced in yoga, no, he can give up the karmic activities. So this is like here, both are very important, and it is mentioned for different kinds of practitioners. Okay, for one who is a neophyte in the eightfold system of yoga, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. So why the beginner requires work? Because he is not very much seasoned to engage all his senses in the service of the Lord, or here in this practice, in the yoga practice. So his senses are uncontrolled. Better let him work and then practice some yama, niyama, and asana, pranayama, and things like that. And he becomes very solid, and then he can control his senses and he can focus on the Supreme Lord and things like that. So then dharana, dhyana, and samadhi can be performed, ceasing all the material activities. Right? So initial thing requires in the eightfold yoga system. So the initial like a few no the initials the neophytes are advised to go through this process of work, like they should not give up their material work abruptly, no. And then the advanced practitioners of the eightfold system of yoga, they can give up things, right? So that's the anyways, it's about the ashtanga yoga practice, and which we are not going to do. So purport: the process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga. It may be compared to a ladder from attaining the topmost for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins from the lowest material condition of living entity and raises up to perfect self-realization and pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names, but all in one, the complete ladder is called yoga, and may be divided into three parts, namely jnana, dhyana, and bhakti. Jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and bhakti yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called the yoga ruruksha stage, and the highest rung is called yoga ruda. And concerning the eightfold yoga system, attempt in beginning to enter into the meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures, which are more or less bodily exercises, are considered fruitive material activities. They are not actually the yoga. Yoga means linking with the Lord. That comes when samadhi happens, right? So it is not going to happen in the asana and pranayama. They are just no, just pre-preparation, so that in the during the dhyana, the body is not going to disturb, right? So even after all the pre-preparation, if something happens to the body, the whole process goes for toss. So that's why Bhakti Yoga says, like, no, whether you're in trouble like Gajendra or Draupadi, still you perform bhakti, because never there is going to be a time when everything is all right, right? So this yoga practice says that no, first you set right everything, let the body be all pakka and everything be pakka, then you can put dhyana on the Lord. So that's like no, better like it's not going to be that easy. Right? So okay, um, all such activities lead to achieving mental equilibrium to control the senses. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities. Hmm. A Krishna conscious person, however, is situated from the beginning on the platform of meditation because he always thinks of Krishna, and being constantly engaged in the service of Krishna, he is considered to have ceased all material activities. So by engagement in Krishna consciousness, already like we are good in this meditation, because every day we are trying to chant and we are developing attachment day by day, to the process of chanting. More we are able to hear the sound vibration clearly and attentively, more we will develop attachment towards the sound vibration. And then no, the sound vibration will conquer our system at certain point in time, and we will become so much attached to Krishna, even though we are not renouncing things, we are not practicing this eightfold yoga system. Still, Krishna consciousness is very powerful. It can just because Krishna is very attractive, and we are dealing with Krishna in this whole system. So that becomes very powerful, and we want to give pleasure to Krishna. So that becomes very powerful. Okay, text 4. Yada hi nendriyarteshu nakarmashvas anusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudasya tadochyate. Okay, so in this previous thing, I just missed one thing. So it's like the ladder that Srila Prabhupada is pointing in the purport. So this generally we call it as the yoga ladder. And he's telling it's not only pertaining to this Ashtanga yoga system. So this ladder contains all the different yoga systems. And then finally, the thing is perfection is to attain the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. That is possible only by Bhakti Yoga. And the basic or the lowest rung is those people who don't perform activities based on scriptures. No, they are called as bogies, or they are like out of the Vedic system. And then the next level of people are, they perform activities based on the Vedic scriptures, but then they want to enjoy the fruits. And such people are called karma yogis, sakama karma yogis. They want to enjoy the results. So sa kama, kama means their desires are there, selfish desires are there. Sa kama karma yogis, no, they are doing karma also. And then next level is nishkama karma yogi. So they are doing the activities based on the scriptures, and they are not having desire to enjoy the fruits of their actions. So they are called nishkama karma yogis. And with this, what happens is jnana comes up, because they have given up the attachment to fruits of action. So they will get jnana, they will get spiritual realization, means they'll get the understanding that they are not the body, they are the soul. And but the jnana in itself is also not sufficient. No, they have to understand that I am not just spirit, I am part and parcel of Lord, I am meant to serve the Lord. And this idea will come only if they come in touch with the devotee of the Lord, only if they come in touch with the process of bhakti. So rest of it, till the point of I am not the body, I am the soul, aham brahmasmi, no, a mechanical process also can take us through. But to get bhakti, we need to have the touch of a devotee. No, without that, it is not possible. So even till liberation, we can go mechanically. But entering into the spiritual world, we need this one. We need a touch of a devotee. So this jnana yoga cannot be practiced by a person attached to the fruits of actions. So jnana yoga requires prelude as karma yoga. And then even the dhyana yoga, like we see that Ashtanga yoga is otherwise called as dhyana yoga. So this also has two kinds of split in it. So one is that yoga ruruksha. So those are the neophytes, and it is mentioned the yoga rurukshas, they should perform karma yoga also, right? So they cannot just simply take up dhyana yoga. They cannot just simply sit and meditate, and they'll be meditating on some sense object. Rather than that, no, if there is any attraction to sense object, then better I do the activities, regulated activities as prescribed in karma yoga, right? So why I should give up the karma and think about the sense objects? That's a problem, right? Anyway, I'm going to think about sense object, then regulate it. No, do it according to the scriptures. So if I'm not going to think about sense object, okay, you think of renunciation. That's not a problem. But then if you're going to think about sense object, don't renounce. No, that's a very important the instruction by in the Bhagavad Gita. So we see that the yoga ladder starts with like downtrodden people, like who are not following the Vedic scriptures. So next is like following and desire to enjoy, and then next is following the Vedic scriptures, but they're given up the desire to enjoy the fruits. And next is by giving up the fruits, they get jnana, and they can perform jnana yoga, further contemplation on the spiritual subjects. That is one path, and another path is the Ashtanga yoga, where they are doing all this pranayama, asana, and things like that and all. And then once they get a good grip of their control of their senses, then they apply themselves on dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So in this way they progress. But all this thing, either jnana yoga or Ashtanga yoga can take a person to the point of liberation. It cannot take a person to the spiritual world. That requires bhakti yoga. So that's the topmost topmost leg piece of the ladder, that is there. So this is the ladder concept, so which we describe in our Gita course also. So anyways, like I just, because it came, I just kind of gave a little explanation on that. Okay, text 4. यदा हिनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्व अनुसज्जते सर्वसंकल्प सन्यासी योगारूढ़स्तदोच्यते. A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. Okay. Purport: when a person is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in fruitive activities. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratification, since one cannot live without engagement. No, so like if he is not engaged in this one proper regulated activities, then he must engage in no sense gratification and fruitive activities, right? Hmm. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby perfectly detach from sense gratification. One who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desires before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder. So bhakti yoga is the easiest process. So he can directly engage himself uh, in the service of the Lord, and anyone from any platform can actually enter bhakti yoga. So only one person cannot enter bhakti yoga. So that is a thing here. It's mentioned that one who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desires before elevated to the topmost rung of the yoga ladder. So the topmost rung is bhakti yoga. So in a practical terms, I just want to put this question: who cannot practice bhakti yoga? No, who cannot practice bhakti yoga? Any answer? In a simple language, whatever Prabhupada is mentioned there, in a simple language, somebody can tell who cannot perform bhakti yoga. Anyone quickly can unmute and you can speak also. Bhakti yoga doesn't have any prerequisite of you have to be cultured. No, you should be performing. Materialistic person can also take on to bhakti yoga. That's not a problem.
One who is very much attached to the material desire and is not self-realized. I mean, though
Even if we have material desires, in Bhagavatam it says, Akama sarva kamavo moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether we have akama, we have no desire, or sarva kama, all desires, or moksha kama, we have desire for liberation, still one can practice bhakti yoga. So whereas Jnana Yoga says, no, you can practice only if you give up the attachment to the fruits. And no, like other practices has some prerequisite. Bhakti Yoga doesn't have any prerequisite, but still some people cannot do. Who are they?
the atheist people who
Who are dveshis, who don't like the Lord. Because bhakti yoga requires we have to focus on the Lord, right? No, if somebody says like, no, I don't want to focus on the Lord, okay, you do bodily exercise, you do pranayam, you do asana, and then you control your senses, and then you go up in the ladder and things like that, and finally where you have to come, you have to come to bhakti. Why to keep that dvesh? Huh? So if somebody wants to, somebody has serious envy towards the Lord, why Krishna is the supreme Lord, then he cannot do, right? So it's like those who are envious of Krishna. So like that is the thing. Those who are envious to Krishna, they cannot perform bhakti yoga. No, they have to take shelter of jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, karma yoga, and things like that, where surrender to Krishna or no glorification of Krishna is not the primary thing. So they can do all this circus and things like that. They can aram se come. So a simple person who has faith in Krishna and who likes Krishna, he can very easily progress. No, very very fast, very quickly he progress. So if he doesn't have the attachment to it, okay, fine. No, he's given a roundabout process. Probably by going around all this while, he may again become favorable to Krishna. Right. So that's why he's put on a roundabout process. Right. So that's the most important thing. Bhakti yoga can be practiced by anyone, who is not envious of Krishna. So that's the main thing. Right. So we have material desires, no problem. We can become a devotee. We have desire for liberation, no problem, we can become a devotee. We can start, we can become a devotee. And we don't have envy towards Krishna, we can become a devotee, right? So that's the most important point, right? So envious person cannot become a devotee because he is thinking, why Krishna is supreme Lord, why only he? So it's like that is the difficulty, right? Okay, let's continue. Text 5. Uddared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadhyate, Atmaiva hi Atmano Bandhur Atmaiva Ripu Atmanah. Okay, one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is a friend of conditioned soul and his enemy as well. No, if the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, then the mind is a friend, and the mind is absorbed in sense gratification, then it's the enemy. No, because it's going to drag me into more and more troubles and problems. Right? Okay, purport. The word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is a central point of yoga practice, Atma refers here to the mind. All Atma means self identification. Atma can refer to body, Atma can refer to mind, Atma can refer to intelligence, and Atma can refer to the soul. And Atma can refer to the super soul also, right? So he is the ultimate. No, one single Atma means the I concept. So the actual I word can be used only for the Lord, because he is the original person, and rest everybody are dependent entities, right? So like in that way, like the Atma can refer to different things, and here the yoga practice is going to focus on the mind. The mind is a central principle on which the yoga practice is going to be on, and regulating the mind and regulating the things. No, it's all on the mind. So the focus is on the mind. So Atma here refers to the mind, right? So the purpose of yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from the attachment to the sense objects. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nuisance. In the material existence, one is subjected to influence of mind and senses. So if you see that there are many experiments that are there. There is one experiment of a dog. What is that? The master of the dog. I don't remember the experiment's name. If somebody knows the experiment's name, they can type it out. So this dog is fed, after ringing a bell every day, right? So like one day, this the master would ring the bell, and then he would feed the dog. So he would keep doing this pattern, and then one day on an off time, like he just rang the bell, and the dog came, and he was like he was wanting food. It just set into the system. No, ring the bell and then the food, ring the bell and then the food. So it just got into the system. So this mind can be trained in that way. The mind can be trained in that way. Morning, get up, Mangalarti, then after that chanting, then after that, like Bhagavatam class and Guru Puja and all those things, and then we can have the whole training process. So after some time, you don't need to do anything. The mind will say, okay, get up and then do this, do this, do this. And the mind can actually deliver a conditioned soul from the mire of conditioned, material existence. We just need to train the mind for some time, and that will just take care of it, right? So in the material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with the false ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature. And in this way, the conditioned soul may be saved, right? So I can just say that the mind can be trained. Everything that I see in the street and advertisements and things like that, I should go for it. So that's also training of the mind. And another way of training is, okay, fine, no, like we should focus on Krishna. We should do, have we did our rounds nicely today? Have we did our services today? Did I, like as we were discussing the other day, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor Vacham Shivaikunta Gunanu Varnane. So did I speak about Krishna today to someone? No, Vacham Shivaikunta Gunanu Varnane. Karo Harer Mandira Marjana Dishu. Did I clean? So it is like Chaitanya Karunasundar was telling, it's Pavlov's dog study. This is actually an experiment that happens. So, anyways, so we were discussing on something higher now. So this is like Karo Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. So all of us have an altar in our home. So we should go and clean the altar, even if it is not dirty. We should just go and clean the altar every day a little bit. And then also like that, the whole home is considered to be the temple of the Lord, because the Lord is the master of the home. So we should engage in cleansing, and thinking that this is the temple of the Lord, and I must keep it clean, right? So and then Shrutim Chakarad, Achyuta Kathodaye, right? So like I should hear about the glories of the Lord, like we are all assembling here and every day we are hearing. So this is very nice. No, this is also devotional service. Like that, we can train our mind like this. No, did I do all these things? No, then the mind will be trained in that way. And after sufficient training, like this dog, no, how it was, just after ringing a bell, it was asking for food. So the same way, we will all all the time we will be fully trained in applying the mind on Krishna, right? Okay, so one should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one become entangled in material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing the point, that is, one must do this. It is also said, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho bandhaya vishaya sango muktai nirvishayam manaha. For a man, mind is a cause of bondage and mind is a cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from sense objects is the cause of liberation. Right? So this is from Upanishad. Therefore, the mind which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness is the cause of supreme liberation. Okay, so with this, we will stop here and then we will read the other book a little bit. This is very nice book. Okay, so we were in this one, that Vaisheshika Prabhu, the author of this book, he is he joined the temple and then he was given the service of vessel cleaning, and then after some time, he was asked to go out and book distribution, and he was so wonderful, and he was like, he liked the service so much, and then that all those things were happening, and now this particular section we'll read, saved by service. Now declares, now decades have passed since Bhakta Roberto took me to market and Powell, and I can see how it was my tight grip on the rope of distributing books that has pulled me past the many dangerous whirlpools that might otherwise have drowned me. So Vaisheshika Prabhu is telling that this process of distributing the books of Srila Prabhupada has saved him from many, many whirlpools, dangerous whirlpools. So many, many dangers in the life he escaped just because he was attached to book distribution. In maintaining my vow of celibacy during my passionate youth, meeting my responsibilities in my married and business life, facing the death of my parents, making the inevitable hard decisions that come in life, my service as my savior, like this seva of book distribution actually saved him from many of these, or it gave him the right like what is that right kind of a vision and right kind of courage to face all these things. As my beloved friend Suradas once told me, Vaish, your seva will save ya. So he was right, and I pray that my grip may remain tightly around this rope of distributing Srila Prabhupada's books as I enter last phase of my life. This service is open to all. Anyone from any social stratum may voluntarily accept this service and become a messenger for Krishna, thus raising to the exalted status of ambassador of goodwill. Srila Prabhupada gives a practical example of how this happens in a letter to Uttama Shloka Das, dated December 11, 1975. The Sankirtan devotees are very, very dear to Krishna because they are doing the field work of book distribution. Krishna has immediately recognized them as true servants. Just like during wartime, a farm boy or ordinary clerk who goes to fight for his country on the front immediately becomes a national hero for his sincere effort. So Krishna immediately recognizes a preacher of Krishna consciousness who takes all risk to deliver his message. About those who deliver his message, Krishna says in Gita 18:69, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Right? So this is, Krishna is mentioning one who's preaching the message of Krishna consciousness is very, very dear to him. Okay, millions of so-called good causes abound in this world, but according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only one cause is truly great: delivering Krishna's message to the forgetful conditioned souls suffering from ignorance of their true selves. Anyone who feels thrilled upon hearing Krishna's statements in the Gita or Mahaprabhu's order to deliver the Gita's message, and who takes up that order becomes a fortunate soul and the noblest of messengers. Such a person becomes an ambassador of goodwill, tastes the sweetness of giving others the greatest gift, and feels the protection of Krishna's internal energy. Right, so this is very amazing statements. So we'll read another section: higher class propaganda work. Distributing Srila Prabhupada's transcendental books, canvassing for Krishna, going door to door to deliver Krishna Katha, inviting people to chant the holy names. All these methods are authorized, practical, and standard ways to give Krishna and his message to others. The exemplars in our spiritual line are particularly fond of these methods, and they bless anyone who engage in such devotional service. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati verifies this truth. We do not belittle the importance of the Pancharatrika process, the rules and rituals of deity worship, of having representatives in theistic institutions or establishing temples with deities. Yet we are of the opinion that the duty of the better or higher class is propaganda work. Mahaprabhu's Manobishtam, heart's desire, is that Vaikuntha Nama be proclaimed everywhere. And to that end, many pamphlets need to be printed. So here we see that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, is telling that we do not belittle the rituals of deity worship. They must be there, and the temples must be established, and deities must be worshipped nicely. But then, there is another higher duty that is there. That is propaganda work. That is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Manobishtam, or heart's desire. So that is the Vaikuntha Nama, or the divine names of the Lord, be proclaimed everywhere, and that needs a lot of printing to happen. That needs a lot of literatures to be printed, and that needs to be distributed. Okay, fully absorbed in the mood of his guru, even before coming to America, Srila Prabhupada sat in his room at the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan and wrote, just preach the Lord's message to the fallen souls, going continuously from door to door by the grace of that preaching, your life will become truly successful. After arriving in the West and launching his campaign on American shores, Srila Prabhupada wrote this to Madhu Dvishadas on March 26, 1970. You are trying for the new temple, but our main business is Sankirtan and distribution of literature. If Krishna gives us a better place, that's all right. Otherwise, we can remain at any place, never mind hell or heaven. But we shall be only um, very cautious about the propagating our Sankirtan movement. Those who risk their lives to distribute transcendental knowledge through books, magazines, and other media get unusual high spiritual returns. The motivational speaker Jim Rohn once said, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Right? So one need not hesitate to distribute transcendental books on the mandate of Mahaprabhu and his followers. For anyone who takes up this mission to any extent will be empowered to do so by the Lord's internal energy, an empowerment that resides eternally in Mahaprabhu's full potent order. No, that is Jare Dekho Tara Kaha Krishna Upadesh, right? So whomever you see, give Krishna Upadesh. Okay, such a fortunate soul becomes recognized as a true ambassador of goodwill, right? So, we will pause here and we will continue tomorrow. And, this our new site we had registered, gogita.in. I think it's picking up, and many new orders are coming for Bhagavad Gita. And it's nicely happening. And like devotees, please register yourself for the calling seva, and many of you have registered also. And then try in various different ways in for distributing of Srila Prabhupada's books. So this is a very, very amazing seva. We should try to do this, and we will get the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Right? Hari Hari, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, and Srila Prabhupada book marathon ki jai. Hare Krishna.